Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
And we're going to begin with a baby boy in St. Clair County diagnosed with a rare form of hepatitis. Glad you're with us at 6. The 11-month-old is one of 3 Michigan children now included in the CDC's acute hepatitis investigation.
Yeah, we're talking about that mysterious liver disease in children first identified in the UK and is now found in children all across Europe and here in the U.S. Our Megan Woods spoke to that St. Clair County family. Megan, that 11-month-old was in the hospital for more than a week. How scary.
He was. His name is Finn Rowell, and he's back to being the happy, healthy baby he was before he came down with this rare hepatitis. But his parents say during all of this, it was terrifying because they didn't know what was wrong with baby Finn.
And all of a sudden, it got to the point where we could not wake him up at all, and he started throwing up something brown.
Kathleen and Blake Rowell said in just hours, their 11-month-old Finn went from being his regular, bubbly, active self to the complete opposite. The nightmare didn't end there. Tuesday, May 17th, they took Finn to the emergency room where doctors ran tests.
They came back and they were like, so your son has possible liver failure, his kidneys are shutting down, and we're airlifting you to Children's Hospital because he has internal bleeding somewhere, and he was throwing up the old blood.
Finn was treated and went home May 25th. He is one of 3 Michigan children part of CDC's acute hepatitis investigation. Our Dr. Frank McGeorge says there's still so much to learn about it.
Hepatitis simply implies inflammation of the liver. It can be caused by a variety of different things.
So what does that mean for parents?
If you notice any yellowing of their skin, yellowing of the whites of their eyes, or darkening of their urine, you should have them seen by a doctor.
Don't ignore that gut instinct, because that was the only thing that got me to the hospital in time.
And again, Finn is doing much better now. He had a checkup a week after he was released from the hospital, and he has a few more checkups in the future. Devin, Kimberly?
So scary, Megan, but glad that baby Finn is going to be okay. And just to be clear, this is not the same as hepatitis A or B.
It's not hepatitis A, it's not hepatitis B, or any other common hepatitis. This is extremely rare.
Okay, Megan, thanks.
Well, it is always the biggest party of the summer, right? 11 days from now, the Ford fireworks return downtown. Thank goodness, after a 2-year hiatus. Another big crowd expected to pack Hart Plaza. Metro Detroiters are going to notice something new this year, and that'll be metal detectors. Sean Lay shows us how these metal detectors are different from the ones you've seen at local sporting events and concerts. Sean.
We're not only going to show you how these work, we're going to show you how quickly they work. No more emptying your pockets, you just walk through. Get to the event, come through. And just like that.
In an instant, I just got screened for weapons. I cleared, but this orange box flagged Detroit Police Deputy Chief Franklin Hayes' gun.
Really fast.
Just like that, yeah. So again, it shows us walking through. Clear, no issues, and the signature for my sidearm here, again, that would warrant a follow-up conversation and talk about the legality of me possessing a firearm at whatever event that we're at.
Detroit police now have 10 of these mobile weapon detectors, paid for by American Rescue Act tax dollars. They've already been set up at the Movement Festival, the Grand Prix, and Pride events. Thousands of people are funneled through, and the technology can instantly detect a weapon.
This provides an environment of safety, so when people go out, certainly they can enjoy what it is. We can tell people, leave your firearms at home. And also, we can get others to come out because they'll feel safe that they know that they're deployed in the community.
DPD will have people pass through the detectors at the upcoming fireworks downtown. Hayes says events can request firearms restrictions. CPL holders will be encouraged to safely secure their weapon.
If we do find that someone is unlawfully carrying, we will constitutionally take the next steps we're at.
You're bringing kids down to fireworks. This is going to let people relax.
Yes, it is.
That's a big deal.
We're excited.
Yeah. Back here live, DPD, they cleared 30,000 people going into the Movement Festival near Hart Plaza, and the lines move quickly because 2 people can go through these machines at once. You do not, again, have to clear out your pockets of your keys, wallets, sunglasses, things like that. Guys, the goal here, police say, is to take away the element of gun violence if there's some kind of dispute, and someone may want to settle that dispute with a gun. We're live tonight. Sean Lay, Local 4, back to you.
We hate that these things are necessary in this day and age, but seems like a simpler way to do it. All right, Sean. Now to the downed trees and power lines spread across the city of Novi after morning storms. We talk about locally heavy storms. That's really the case here. Locally heavy that went through the area.
But the good news is DTE has been able to restore power to most homes with only a few scattered outages remaining. Our Tim Pamplin is in Novi, where a group of out-of-town athletes got caught in a nasty weather.
Cleanup continues in Novi this evening after this morning strong storms came rolling through. Some of the casualties, well, a group of transcontinental skydivers were meant to be having a meet at iFly, but that all got scrubbed after the storm came barreling through. Indoor skydiving is something you might see at the X Games, and athletes from across the country had converged on Novi last evening.
These kids do crazy things in these tunnels.
But today's schedule was scrubbed because there's no power at the facility.
Coaching all day, training all day for international competitions.
And there were about 60 parents and athletes from across the country.
So we have people from Cincinnati, Seattle, Baltimore, Colorado, Atlanta, Maryland, and Tampa.
So what were they to do? That's right, enjoy the great Michigan outdoors. Everybody headed to Lakeshore Park in Novi. There wasn't much more they could do with no power at their facility. That's current world champion Noah Winberg from Naperville, just outside of Chicago. He says this was one day he will never forget.
Man, it was crazy. We woke up pretty early to go to the tunnel, and we're driving our truck down the road, and there's a tree in the middle. We're trying to squeeze our truck through the tree. We get to the tunnel, they say the power's off. It was a whirlwind of a morning.
There's nothing you can do. You just got to keep rolling with the punches and enjoy the beautiful day.
So from the iFly tunnel to the beach, this crowd say they got word that the iFly tunnel will be back in business sometime tonight. They're going to use every minute they can to get their practice in. But for now, they're just taking everything in stride. That's the scene in Novi this afternoon. Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
Indoor skydive, that was wild video.
I want to know more about that,
That
too.
looked like the morning editorial meeting around here. The temperature's not quite what we had yesterday, but we've still been hovering around 90 degrees all day.
Let's check in with Brian Sherman with what to expect for the rest of the night, Brian.
Hey there, Kimberly and Devin. Yeah, a much quieter picture than what we saw there earlier this morning. Those renegade thunderstorms have given way to clear skies. Storm Tracker 4, a clean sweep across southeastern Michigan heading throughout this afternoon and into this evening. But one more day of the heat today before some cooler temperatures arrive as we head into the weekend. 90 degrees right now here in Detroit, while our dew points are dropping into the 50s, so starting to get comfortable. The winds are picking up. West-southwest winds sustained at 23 miles an hour. 80s and 90s across the board for just about everyone. 93 at City Airport, 89 in Pontiac, 88 right now working into Flint, 87 in Howell, and 90 as you work down into Adrian. We're going to cool off very quickly. Sunshine gives way to clear skies. Mid-80s by 8 o'clock this evening, low 80s by 10 o'clock. We're dropping into the 70s after midnight tonight. Enjoy the dry weather we've got on the way for the weekend. Below average temperatures with 70s are on the way before showers and thunderstorms return. And we've got another heat wave on the way for the middle of next week. We'll talk about how warm it's going to get. Your complete forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Brian, the third January 6th hearing focusing on President Trump's attempts to pressure former Vice President Mike Pence into rejecting the 2020 presidential election results.
Mike Pence made it clear that he wouldn't give in to Donald Trump's scheme. Donald Trump turned the mob on him.
The committee revealed new details that Pence remained in an underground secure location inside the Capitol for more than 4 hours that day. At times, Pence's location in that bunker was just about 40 feet away from the rioters who had stormed their way inside the Capitol and had been chanting their wishes to hang the vice president. The committee questioned key Pence advisors who warned the vice president that he had no authority to overturn the election.
The vice president's first instinct here is so decisive on this question. There's just no way that the framers of the Constitution, who divided power and authority, who separated it out, who had broken away from George III and declared him to be a tyrant, there was no way that they would have put in the hands of one person the authority to determine who was going to be president of the United States.
Republican Committee Vice Chair Liz Cheney says the next hearing is going to look at the Trump team's efforts to pressure Republican state legislatures and officials to reverse the election results. Much more from the January 6th hearing ahead at 6:30 on NBC Nightly News with Lester.
Michigan gubernatorial candidate Ryan Kelly will not be allowed to travel outside of state while he faces misdemeanor charges. Kelly is charged for his alleged role in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. He was arrested last Friday at his home in Allendale by the FBI and charged with 4 misdemeanors. Today, a federal judge rejected Kelly's request to carry a firearm while campaigning. The judge did agree to allow in-state travel for Kelly. He's due back in court for a preliminary hearing July 7th.
Genesee County officials investigating an oil spill in the Flint River.
A spokesperson from Eagle tells MLive the spill appeared to be about 5 miles long. Eagle says booms are being deployed and investigators are working to determine a possible source. We're told the drinking water was not threatened. Flint used the river for drinking water in 2014-2015 before lead contamination caused the city to return to a regional water supplier. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is sending 2 on-scene coordinators to Flint in response.